for the season. One especially is you are now co-voice directing with Marieve Herington.
Yes.
I'm curious how that happened, and if this was something you was back to voice directing. It's very common voice actors like Sam Eden-Regal, Charlie Adler, etc. Is becoming a voice director something you always plan for?
Sorry, what was the last part?
Becoming a voice director, always something you plan for?
No. No, I think it was one of these things where, the show was getting bigger and bigger, and like Chris and Shane directed us for the first first season or two. Yeah,
I think it was like first,
and then
maybe
Monica
two, maybe one and a
directed,
half.
Yeah, and then Monica Ray. She was directing the episodes and also voice directing.
Right.
And it was one of these things where the show was getting bigger and bigger, and just I think Disney in general, and with like streaming and everything, there's just more content than ever, and there's just not that many voice directors. So Disney reached out and was like, would you be interested? And I was like, let's have a conversation about it. And they weren't actually reaching out about Big City Green specifically. And then there was, we lost the person who was currently voice directing at that time. And I sort of joked, I was like, I guess I could do it. And they were like, and
wait,
they're like,
for real?
actually, yeah. It was actually like Easter. I think I was having brunch with Shane, and I was like, and he was like, that could actually like solve some of our problems because you know the show very well, and so it really just organically came to be because I know the show. I have like Shane and Chris's voices in my head. I know that Shane's always going to want to get a tighter pass of the line. Chris is like the comedy a little flatter. But look, I've always been very bossy, and my friends would always like reach out to me for like comedy auditions to like coach them. So I guess it was just a nice additional sort of hat to wear. Yeah, and then it's obviously like very easy because the actors know their roles so well, and they're very funny people. So it's not like it's heavy lifting, certainly. Yeah.
What has surprised you the most about the impact that this show has had over the last 4 years?
The impact that the show has had over the past 4 years is probably the surprising thing. I mean, like going into any kind of, I think, creative venture or being part of any show, you never know
what's gonna hit.
Yeah, like what kind of impact it'll have. So like, every time we get a season renewal, we're like, really? Wow, cool, let's do more,
But also, I think, like, the impact specifically over the course of the pandemic. I don't think we could have been prepared. Like, you make a show that's, like, funny and feel good. You don't realize, like, oh, this was, like, necessary, until you have something like a global pandemic where it's, like, kids are stuck at home, and, like, having a show that, like, I can't tell you how many messages of, like, my kid watches this and I love watching it with them. Like, never before were we all, like, so close as, like, families and kind of, like, stuck at home. Anything that could kind of lighten the mood, make for just kind of an escape from what everybody was going through. Like, I don't think any of us could have been prepared to, like, be on a show that would come out at this time. I think was really, really special.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the heart of the show, too. Like, it definitely became a comfort show for me and, like, my mom, like, during the course of the pandemic. So, like, it being a comfort show for other people isn't, like, out of left field. Like, and I think it's a testament to how well the show was crafted and how much heart everyone puts into it.
Yeah, people just needed to feel good.
Feel good, yeah.
And that the show provided that, and we get to be part of, like, making people, like, feel good. It's like
safe, that's the biggest honor I think about it.
Exactly. What could be better?
Yeah.
Hi, Alex Yard from the Goodman Project. I'd like to ask you about this season as opposed to last. I mean, it ended strong in the third season. Now, this season, where do you see your characters' arcs going from here? You guys are going back home, but not really, right? Things are changing. You've changed. Your place has changed. How do you see your characters evolving?
Yeah, I think you've seen these characters, like the Green specifically, like adapt to this new environment. And I think what you're going to see is like, oh, we're going back to the environment that we're comfortable in. But are we comfortable then anymore? Because the city has changed us, right? So like how now it's like I think these episodes are really interesting because it's like it's not like, oh, we're going back to the comfortable thing, so now there's like this stasis. No, our environment changed us, and so now we've got to change again. And it's just a whole new challenges. It's not like, oh, we're home and there's no more conflict because everything's familiar. Quite the opposite, I think you'll find.
Yeah, I think with Remy specifically, he kind of takes on a bigger role this season in that he's kind of there all the time, and he's brought into from an environment he's comfortable in, and yeah, he's being taken to an environment he's not. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And in that way, like, we get to kind of see Remy adapt, and even in the big city, he was always in his shell. So he's got to open up even more and kind of open himself up to all these new experiences, as well as being a supportive rock for his friends, the closest people to him, who also are feeling like, adjusting to the changes of the environment that they're used to. So I think, like, for Remy, he's learning a lot more, and he's growing even closer to the Greens in, like, being right there in, like, a lot of intimate spaces with them, and, like, experiencing a lot of things that they experienced and that they went through. And I think it'll just create an even stronger bond between him and.
Oh, 100%. He's a Green.
Yeah, he's pretty much an honorary Green. He's in the credits now. He's in the opening credits, and that just means the world to me.
I know, those opening credits are so beautiful.
They're so pretty.
They're so pretty.
I know, I love it.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite episode, either to record or to just like watch as a fan?
I will say I loved Cousin Jilly. There's a specific scene, and because there's such like an innocence of like Tilly wanting to preserve this like lie of of Cousin Jilly, but just because she's like, I don't want to burst this bubble. Like, it's my responsibility to preserve this like thing of their childhood and not like let my little brother grow up too fast, right? And there's one scene where she's just like, she reveals to she's like, okay, like, I'm gonna show you, and then takes the glasses off and puts it on. He's like, I don't get it. It's just a pair of, I love the transformation sequence where she's like kind of invoking the Jilly like energy and this kind of like anime transformation that the board artist did. I just like that episode has such like an innocence and like heart of wanting to do this thing for cricket. I just there's also, though that's unfair, that's like just the one that came to mind because like there's
so many
fun episodes. Anything with a song.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Music.
Recently, Rembo was a fun one for me.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was just like Remy going like to the wall, like just, and that's the most I think like. Usually, sometimes Remy has a lot of big moments, but like that was like the only one of the few times where I was like, okay, guys, I can't do it.
Rembo was like one of the first episodes that I directed.
You directed,
so
yeah.
you were very patient with me as I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Right. Zoom is hard.
You were great. I was like, I've been in worse.
Your performance withstood like my incompetence.
Not at all. She's great. Don't let her convince you that she wasn't a great director.
But yeah, you were so great in that episode.
It was a fun episode to do.
Right? Of like if you had like Tilly's song. She right? Like that episode.
That would be so. I think Remy's song would be like Hi Mr. Green. Like, he'd probably like be like a very much I love everyone and I love my friends and hello and